Let's break down why the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so effective by discussing what I'm going to call its 3 stages of hell. Stage 1, unsettling. Right out the gate, this film creeps you out with the imagery of the dead bodies and the shot of those 2 corpses that have been dug up from the graves and put on display in the graveyard. It immediately sets the mood and you know right away exactly the kind of film you're in for. We then cut to the protagonist in the van driving across the country and they pick up that hitchhiker, and right away there's just something wrong with this guy. This hitchhiker is such a wacko, the way he talks, his mannerisms, his twitchy movements, and then he takes the guy's knife, slashes his hand, and you're like, oh my god, get this guy out of the van right now. And that's the life lesson from Texas Chainsaw Massacre: never pick up hitchhikers, ever. They stop for gas, and the guy at the gas station says there's no gas there. And I just love that scene, how it sets up the setting, and I just adore the setting of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just in the middle of nowhere in Texas, that kind of rural, backcountry, kind of redneck setting. After that, they go to the house, and at this point, it's still building up, and the intrigue is just festering, and you're getting really drawn in by the setting, the tone, the vibe of the film, and you're just waiting for the discovery to come. And that's where stage 2 comes in, which is disturbing. They come across Leatherface's house, so you haven't met Leatherface yet, and you just see all the different bones and corpses and skins on display. There's a couch made out of bones, there's skulls dangling from the ceiling, and at this point you're just icked out, you're disturbed, because I think any human being would be if they saw that in a film or came across that in real life, God forbid. And then Leatherface pops out of nowhere, scares the shit out of you, and now it's life or death, and Leatherface is one creepy ass mofo. When he clobbers that first guy with the hammer and then drags his body away and slams that steel door closed, I actually jolted back, because that was just a horrifying visual, seeing the body get dragged away and then shut behind that big thick steel door, never to be seen again. And now we're at stage 3, which is just pure intensity. Leatherface is picking off these people one by one. And I was surprised at how little gore this film had, because I was expecting this to be a complete bloodbath. But I looked into the film's trivia, and they actually scaled back the amount of gore and violence because of the low budget, so they just kept it very minimal. But I liked that. I liked the fact that it wasn't just blood, guts everywhere. It made it feel a bit more scary by not always seeing limbs being cut off and whatnot. It's that whole fear of the unknown that makes most horror films scary, at least the good ones. But yeah, man, when Leatherface is chasing people through the woods with that chainsaw, it's freaky as hell. And there's a jump scare in here where he jumps out with a chainsaw on the guy with the wheelchair.
Sally, I hear something. Stop! Stop!
It got me good. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the best jump scares I've ever seen in a horror film. And I was actually surprised by the plot twist of sorts that the old man at the gas station and the hitchhiker are related to Leatherface, and they live in the same house, and they're a bunch of cannibals, just disgusting, horrible people. And the scenes at the dinner table where they're just absolute whack jobs, out of their minds, just laughing maniacally. It creeped me out, but in that kind of fun way, in that deliriously creepy kind of way. They're just really enjoyable, disgusting, whack job, horrible people. Something that really surprised me about this film was the directing and the camera work, both of which felt really ahead of their time. There's lots of really swift tracking shots just following characters. There's one shot especially where the other female character is walking towards the house and the camera goes underneath the tree swing chair and it's just following her up to the house. Those are the kind of shots you see in modern day horror films, not low budget independent horror films from the 1970s. It really helped make the film feel a lot less dated. After watching this film for the very first time, it's easy to see how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre practically influenced the entire slasher genre, because it's one of the very, very best, maybe even the best.